Teaching for Success School Engagement Series. I'm your host, Rosa Kemerembe. In this episode, we explore an uncomfortable truth that exists within many education systems. It's the quiet, often hidden practice of excluding students from final exams. This is not a rare or isolated issue. It happens in schools that aim to protect their public image, schools that fear the consequences of low results, and schools that place data before dignity. It's a practice that contradicts everything education is supposed to stand for. Students are sometimes told they are not ready to sit the exam. Some are discouraged from registering at all. Others are withdrawn just before the test, usually because their mock results or internal grades suggest they'll not pass. The justification often sounds scary. School leaders say they are protecting the student from disappointment. But if we look closely, the real motivation is institutional protection. By keeping lower performing students out of the final count, schools can report higher pass rates and climb the rankings that determine their reputation and, in some cases, their funding. This kind of exclusion distorts the purpose of education. Exams are meant to measure learning, not filter out those who might lower statistics. When students are removed, the results no longer reflect the real performance of the school community. They become selective snapshots edited to create an illusion of success. The data looks good on paper, but it hides the struggles and stories of those who are never allowed to be counted. The consequences for the student are serious and long-lasting. Being excluded from an exam is not just an academic setback. It sends a message that can deeply affect a young person's confidence and sense of belonging. Research in education and psychology shows that being denied participation reinforces feelings of inadequacy and failure. For many students, this becomes the moment they begin to disconnect from school altogether. Instead of being encouraged to persevere, they are quietly told they do not belong. Over time, that message shapes how they see themselves and their future. Beyond the emotional impact, exclusion from exams also has practical consequences. Without the opportunity to complete a final assessment, students are often blocked from advancing to the next stage of education or training. They lose access to qualifications that open doors to employment, scholarships, and other opportunities. What was once framed as protection now becomes a barrier that limits their future. The ethical question here is unavoidable. How can an education system claim to value inclusion and equity while deliberately denying students the chance to demonstrate what they know? Every student, regardless of predicted outcome, deserves the right to participate. Removing that right because of assumed failure is a violation of the principles of fairness and opportunity that schools are built on. When a school excludes a student, it also undermines accountability. A high pass rate is meaningless if it was achieved by leaving behind those who struggled most. True accountability includes every learner, not just those likely to succeed. A school that removes part of its population from the data is not improving outcomes, it's concealing inequality. Failure, when approached constructively, is not something to be afraid of. It provides valuable information. It shows where teaching methods, curriculum design, or support systems may not be working as intended. It helps identify which students need more help and which programs need improvement. When schools exclude certain students, they erase this feedback and replace it with false reassurance. Instead of learning from results, they avoid them. Real progress depends on honest data, and honest data includes everyone. Inclusion from exams does not happen in isolation. It reflects broader pressures within education systems. Many schools operate under intense competition, with their success defined primarily by test scores and public rankings. These measures, while intended to encourage accountability, can have unintended consequences. When reputation becomes more important than representation, students who need the most support become invisible. If we want genuine improvement in education, the system itself must change. Schools should be recognized and rewarded for inclusion, for ensuring that every student completes the learning journey, and for demonstrating growth across the full range of learners. Transparent reporting should include how many students were registered for exams, how many completed them, and the support given to those who struggled. Data must reflect reality, not selective success. For educators, this issue is about professional integrity. Teaching is not simply about preparing students to achieve top grades. It is about giving every learner the confidence and opportunity to reach their full potential. Allowing all students to take their exams affirms belief in effort, persistence, and dignity. Some will pass easily, others will not. But the experience itself matters. Denying that experience implies that some students are beyond help, and that belief contradicts that very purpose of education. Again, I say it. That belief contradicts the very purpose of education. Policymakers must play their part as well. They need to design systems that discourage exclusion and promote fairness. This means requiring transparency about participation rates, supporting schools that include all students, and addressing those that exploit the system for better rankings. It also means investing in professional development for teachers and leaders so they can make ethical decisions and design assessments that serve all learners. Parents and guardians have an important role too. They should ask questions about school policies and ensure that their children are given the opportunity to sit every required exam. Advocacy from families can make a difference. When parents demand transparency, schools are less likely to make exclusionary decisions behind closed doors. Every child deserves a chance to show what they have learned, regardless of how imperfect that learning may be. At the heart of this issue is a simple truth. Education loses its meaning when access is conditional. A school that excludes a student from an exam is not managing excellence. It is managing its reputation by sacrificing fairness. The real measure of a school's success is not how many students achieve top marks, but how many are given the opportunity to complete their education with dignity and support. Exclusion might make statistics look good in the short term, but it leaves a long shadow. It damages trust between schools and communities. It reinforces inequality and denies young people the right to participate fully in their own education. The true failure does not belong to the excluded student. It belongs to the system that left them behind and let them down. Remember, a school that bars a student from an exam is not managing success. It is managing its own reputation by sacrificing a student's opportunity. The true failure does not belong to the excluded student. It belongs to the system that left them behind. This is your host, Rosa Kemirembe. If this message resonates with you, please share it. Share it with policymakers. Share it with school directors. Share it with head teachers. Share it with parents. Share it with the general public. Let's work for a system that values every student's journey. Thank you for